Hey guys, it's the Sports Convo again, and as you know, we're doing our picks. Stan's doing his own picks, and I'm doing my own picks. On Thursday night, I got it wrong. I picked the Panthers to win by 6.5 points, and they didn't deliver. Cam didn't look very good. The team just couldn't get any plays together, and Christian McCaffrey was shut down. So great job, Tampa Bay, for taking the game, but I do have my picks for the rest of the games for tomorrow and Monday. So first up, I have the 49ers and the Bengals. I have the Bengals winning this one. They're at home. They're favored by 1.5 points. It seems like Andy Dalton's gotten his groove back, and Garoppolo just can't get his groove together. So maybe George Kittle will get the looks that he was getting last year, but I think that the Bengals at home will take this one. Then next up, we have the Chargers and the Lions. I'm taking the Chargers. They are favored by 2.5 points. Even though they're not at home, they're at the Lions. The Lions just had a tie last week with Arizona. The Chargers also just pulled it out in overtime last week. But Phillip Rivers, you know, he's all charged up and ready to go. I love his energy, and I do think the Chargers will take this one tomorrow. Next up, we have the big rivalry between the Vikings and the Packers. The Packers on Thursday night last week didn't look all that great. The Vikings, although they are not favored, the Packers are favored by 3 points. I take the Vikings, even though they are the underdogs. I think Dalvin Cook is having some great games. They're really using him a lot this year. And even if they decide to throw the ball, they've got Adam Thielen, they've got Stephon Diggs. They have a lot of weapons to throw to as well. So I think the Vikings take it tomorrow. Next up, we have the big rivalry between the Colts and the Titans. And I, of course, take the Titans, favored by 3 at home. I don't even have to explain why. They are the team closest and nearest and dearest to my heart. So no biases, but I do think Mariota, Delaney Walker, and all the receivers on Titans and Derrick Henry will pull it out. Next up, we have the Patriots and the Dolphins. And although I'm not a fan of the Patriots, when you have a 19-point spread, I have to take the Dolphins. I think the Patriots may win it outright, but they will not win it by the 19 points. So I have to take the Dolphins. And if you saw the game last year between the Patriots and the Dolphins made a miracle happen at the end of the game, and I think another miracle may happen. Even if it doesn't, I think that they will not lose by 19 points. Next up, we have the Bills and the Giants. The Giants are playing at home. They are the underdogs, but I still take the Giants to win. Bills did really great, and they beat the Jets at the last minute last week, but I don't think that will happen again. So I hope that Eli Manning and company pull it out, and I think that they will. Next up, we have the Seahawks and the Steelers. This game is at home for the Steelers. They are favored by 4 points. And I take the Steelers. I think they will bounce back from a devastating loss last week to the Patriots, and I do think the Steelers will pull it through. Next up, we have the Cowboys and the Redskins. The Cowboys looked really good last week, and the Redskins were surprising. It is a home game for the Redskins, but I take the Cowboys favored by 4.5 points. Next up, we have the Cardinals and the Ravens. The Ravens are favored by 13.5 points, and I do think they cover. They looked amazing last week. Lamar Jackson is really stepping up as their QB, and Mark Ingram has been a great addition to the team. So I think it'll be a fun game to watch, and I do think that the Ravens will pull it out by 13.5 points. Next up, we have a rivalry again between the Jaguars and the Texans. It's a home game for the Texans. They are favored by 9 points, and I do think that they will cover and they will win this game. Next up, we have the Chiefs and the Raiders. This is an away game for the Chiefs, but come on, it's the Chiefs. I think they're going to cover the spread of 7.5 points, and they're going to take the game, even without Tyreek Hill. Next up, we have the Bears and the Broncos. The Broncos are at home. They are the underdogs by 2.5 points, but I do think that they're going to win. They had a kind of a devastating loss at the Raiders last week. The Raiders came out strong, but I think with Fangio being the new coach, I think they have a lot to show, and I think they might show up this week. So I have the Broncos winning, even though they are underdogs by 2.5 points. Next up, we have the Saints and the Rams. This is going to be a shootout game. It is at home for the Rams, and the Rams are favored by 2.5 points, but I have the Saints winning. I have a lot of faith in Drew Brees. I know he's not been that great on road games, but he has Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara, who are amazing. But on the other side, you have an injured Todd Gurley, and you have a great receiving core on the Rams. So I think it's going to be a really exciting game to watch, but I personally think that the Saints will win this game. And next up, we have the Eagles and the Falcons. It's a home game for the Falcons, and the Eagles are looking very strong with Deshaun Jackson, and Carson Wentz is looking healthy and great. So it's a 1.5 point spread, and I think the Eagles will take this game and they will cover the 1.5 point spread. And last but not least, we have the Browns at the Jets on Monday night. The Jets are they're losing all the players that they have. Sam Darnold is not playing for a few weeks due to mono. Le'Veon Bell had some shoulder scares, but he's going to play. They have Jamison Crowder, who looked amazing last week. Robbie Anderson as a deep threat. But I think the Browns vindicate themselves this week. They had a devastating loss to Titans last week. They were supposed to be the team to watch this year, so hopefully they'll give us something to watch. Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb. Hopefully they all show up and they cover the spread by 2.5 points. So Browns are my last pick. So let's see what happens, and I hope I got you, Stan.